Dear God, why am I wired this way? Today we're going to be talking about Marry Me. Welcome to Victims and Villains. If you guys are new to our content, we create content like what you're watching right now simply to educate and engage individuals like yourselves on mental health awareness and suicide prevention. My name's Captain Nostalgia. I have the privilege of being a writer, podcaster, and festival director of Horrific Hope. If you guys would like more information on our upcoming film festival, more information about what we do as a nonprofit, podcast, social media, Patreon, and most importantly, our movie reviews, and most importantly, our mental health resource library, all of which you guys can find in the show notes below. As I said in the intro, we're going to be talking about Marry Me, and got a lot to say about this one. Let's start with the plot. So the plot tells the story of these two superstars, this power couple. Closest thing that I could think of would be like Jay-Z and Beyonce, but I know that they're probably not a power couple in most people's eyes anymore. But if you grew up in the 2000s like me, they are royalty. One half of that power couple happens to be Jennifer Lopez, and J-Lo basically is, they're doing this concert where it's going to end. The grand finale of said concert is to marry her fiance in front of 20 million people. That doesn't happen. Fiance cheats on her and she marries a random math teacher played by Owen Wilson. Wow. And the movie spends the rest of its duration telling the typical love story of two unlikely forces coming together to create something beautiful. I'm not gonna lie, this movie starts, it just throws you right in. It just tosses you right in, right to the wolves you go. Got a little hot. But once you get, like, the first act of this movie, or at least the first half of the first act, I mean, it is moving at a brisk, fast pace. And it's a little daunting at first. Like, this movie, the things that I really despise about it are the fact that there are things that you really have to adjust to and get used to. Pacing is one of the biggest things in this movie, and this movie is almost a 2-hour movie, and rom-coms are one of those very few things that, much like horror movies, I feel like the perfect story should be told around the 90-minute mark. Like I said, I am all for going and sitting through 3 or 4 hour films. Some of my favorite movies of the last couple of years have been long movies. But there has to be enough of the characters to invest me and make me want to care and go on these journeys for a long extended period of time. Marry Me has a really fast pace, and then it kind of has this lull for a little bit, and then it kind of goes into like tropish territories, and then it kind of smooths itself out. It's hard to describe. Like, I'm just gonna say that, like, the pacing of this is like, it doesn't quite feel right, and I can't quite put it into words why it doesn't feel right, but it just doesn't. That and the chemistry between Owen Wilson and Jennifer Lopez does take some adjusting to. They're both equally great in this movie, and I'll talk about them in just a second, about their individual performances, but the chemistry of that is, like, it's really awkward, like super awkward. Yes, that's like part of like what is supposed to make this story thrive, and it works. Yes, it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but it does work. It does take it to its advantage. Like, it is able to successfully be a legitimate rom-com that actually, like, had me invested into these characters. What it is about Jennifer Lopez as an actress in these rom-coms, like, it's been a long time since she's been in a comedy of this magnitude, but I always end up finding myself falling in love with these types of movies. And it's only her. Like, I don't know why. She's like one of my favorite actresses working in Hollywood today. And Owen Wilson in this movie is, like, great. Like, he was great in Loki last year, and I really, really liked him in this movie. He's awkward, and as the movie goes on, it feels like his character has the most development to kind of endure, because he is, well, for lack of a better word, he's a guy that, like, Romeo and Juliet. It's kind of that way. It's like best way to describe it. Really awkward guy, really well. He plays this very charming, very just everyday man, like jack of all trades kind of guy, really well. And some of my favorite scenes in this is just he's just a genuine guy. Like, that's what I can say, and he plays it just extremely well. The two of them kind of eventually the chemistry starts to sink in. Like, it's a movie just that like hooks you. Like, the two different worlds coming together and this love story that you feel like you're rooting for this underdog, it flows, and the two forces just create something spectacular. Another thing about this movie that is so surprising to me is the comedy aspect of it. Like, this movie has a lot of surprises, but the comedy aspect and delivery is actually something that I found extraordinarily refreshing. It's really funny, it's really charming, and it's not all like awkward like dad jokes like I was kind of expecting when you first meet Owen Wilson. And I think a large portion of that actually comes from Sarah Silverman. Silverman playing the wingman, so to say, great choice. Silverman, every minute that she is on the screen is pure gold. She's one of the highest standouts, and one of the main reasons to watch this. Like, not only is this a great love story, just in time for Valentine's Day, but this movie is really funny, and it's actually, like, genuinely, like, you're wanting to root for these characters. And a portion of that journey of rooting for those characters, Sarah Silverman. A little bit of this movie was going to end up having its own soundtrack. I kind of knew, but I didn't realize, like, how much of a part music had a place in this movie. Yes, we've seen movies in the past that deal with musicians, and you get like a couple good songs like Rockstar and like That Thing You Do are like two great examples of that. But for this movie, this soundtrack is awesome. I guess you got to be a fan of like pop music, but like, I don't know what it is, man. Like, there are great hooks in this, great lyrics, which I love, and Jennifer Lopez just being able to show that duality of her talent, smart. Alright, before I end up spoiling and this movie review turns into a podcast, I'm going to go ahead and give this a Rorschach rating. And much like our last theatrical release, Jackass Forever, this one is also going to get a 4 out of 5 from me. I truly love this movie. This movie almost brought me to tears. This movie is genuinely funny. It has a hopping soundtrack, great performances. Its pacing is a little bit awkward, and the chemistry is awkward at times, but it all ends up fleshing out. And please, please, please take your bride, take your groom, take your significant other, take your partner, whatever. Take them to go see Marry Me if you guys won't regret it. Now it's time for Mental Health Moment. Our content, Mental Health Moment, is where we take a theme of mental health and we pull it out from the film which we are reviewing and examine it in hopes to deconstruct stigma surrounding mental health. And for this movie, I want to talk about toxic relationships. In the long-winded synopsis for this movie, J-Lo is with another dude that's not Owen Wilson in the beginning, and he's bad for her. The entire second act of this movie is this: are they going to get back together? Does she still have feelings for him? And it's like this back and forth. And Owen Wilson at one point says to her, if you truly believe that this is the best thing for you, I will drive you to him. But if you don't, think about it and consider it. And that truly speaks volumes about not only her character in the movie, but also at the same time, the importance of having voices speak into your relationships. Sometimes where we see toxicity within relationships is because there is an abusive partner and a fearful partner. And the fearful partner might have people that listen, might have people speaking into her about the abuse and about the toxicity. But that fear is just silencing all of that. I just want to encourage anyone watching this right now, listen to those people. A toxic relationship, listen to the community around you. What that community is going to do is that community is not only going to provide you a safety net and a safe place to talk about and pursue those things, but also on top of that, they are also going to be the people that are going to actually be there for you and bring you back to health, or depending on how toxic the relationship is, bring you back to life. And that's huge. That's massively important. Never discount that. And if someone is speaking against it, it's not that they're jealous, it's not that they're angry, it's not that they don't want you to be happy, it's that they do want the best for you. And sometimes those conversations are not only hard to have, but also hard to hear. So please, listen if someone is telling you your relationship is toxic, or if you feel like it's toxic or it's heading into a toxic area. Listen to those gut instincts. Your mental health will thank you. And that's going to do it for us. If you guys need any mental health resources, or you know someone that might benefit from it, links are in the show notes below. Go see Marry Me. Happy Valentine's Day, guys. And check out our episode on Valentine this upcoming Saturday, where you guys can get it right here on YouTube, or you guys can get it wherever you guys get your podcast from. Make sure that you guys hit the follow and subscribe button wherever you guys get your podcasts and entertainment from. Have a great night, guys.